Hey friends, welcome to our midweek moment. Pastor Nicole here. So glad you clicked on. Today in the life of the church is a holiday. It is Ash Wednesday. And this is not like a normal kind of holiday, right? This is an interesting day. If somebody were to come up to you and say, hey, I want to invite you to a church service tonight where we are going to talk about our mortality. We are going to talk about our sinfulness. We are going to put dirt on our faces. And I'd love for you to come and join us. Would you want to take part in that service? Ash Wednesday is one of those days that sounds so weird. But I want to tell you why we do all of those things so that hopefully it will have meaning for you. And so that if you do invite somebody to come to Ash Wednesday, they're not like, what? We're doing what? We are going to do all those things in our Ash Wednesday service. And I hope you will join us in person or online this evening for that service. Let me talk about the ashes first, right? Because Ash Wednesday is just right there in the title. So this is my little pot of ashes. And inside you can see there's it's just ashes. I put some glitter in there. We're going to talk about that tonight in service so you can come back and learn more about that. But this is my little pot of ashes. I keep the ashes in there all year long. They are just, I bought them off of Amazon. They are palm ashes. And so traditionally in the church, we save palm branches from the previous year. They dry out and then we burn them to create ashes for Ash Wednesday. It's a really lovely symbolism. However, burning ashes is a lot of work and it's not as easy as one might think. So I just buy mine off of Amazon, Okay. So anyway, we're going to put those on our forehead. And one of the things I say when we put them on our forehead is I say, remember you are dust and to dust you shall return. So the whole point of Ash Wednesday and the reason why we put ashes on our forehead is to remind us that we were created out of dust and eventually we are turning back into dust. And so we think like, oh, that's not fun to think about. Like mortality is not fun to think about. But Ash Wednesday leads us into the season of Lent, which is a 40-day season in the church. Technically 46, we don't count Sundays. It's a 40-day season where we kind of refocus on our relationship with Jesus. We refocus on remembering the sacrifice that Jesus made on our behalf, how the immortal became mortal, right? God and man all together, all in one, mortality, immortality, all mixed together, and sacrificed himself for us. Now, the reason why he had to sacrifice himself is because we are sinful people. We mess up. We make mistakes. We put this kind of barrier between us and God because of who we are. And just, we are mortal beings with a penchant to sin, right? So on Ash Wednesday, because it kicks us off into this season of Lent, we remember our mortality. We remember, oh, right, I am not immortal like God. I am but a mere human. My body was created from dust. It will return to dust. It kind of is a time for us to be put in our place. Does that make sense? A time for us to kind of examine how mortal we are, how much we have messed up. It's a time for us to seek repentance for the ways that we have messed up. It's a time for us to renew our connection to God by removing that sin from our life and asking God to forgive us of all of that junk that we tend to carry around. It is also a time in that when we remember that we are dust and to dust we shall return, that our time here is finite. We only have so much time to spend on this earth. And so we better make a good use of it. We only have so many days and nobody knows how many days we each have, right? Everybody is different. But we all should be living life to the fullest. That's what Jesus came to teach us, right? When the immortal became mortal here on earth, he came to teach us how to live life to the fullest, to live life abundant. And so during these 40 days, we focus on the teachings of Jesus that remind us how to best live our life so that we don't squander the days that we have. And so while it seems kind of strange that we gather for worship, usually it's in the evening, so it's like in the dark, and we're singing these songs about forgiveness and repentance, and we're talking about mortality and putting ashes on our forehead. It sounds kind of like a bummer, but it's kind of a needed bummer, right? Like, it is a time for us to remember, oh yeah, right. Maybe I haven't been living life the way I should be living. Maybe Jesus is calling me to live my life differently. And so I'm going to put these ashes on my forehead. I'm going to sing these songs about repentance so that I can realign with Jesus, so that I can focus on his teachings, so I can draw closer to him and become more like him during this season of Lent. I love Ash Wednesday. I love a reason to wallow. I'm not a wallowy kind of person. I tend to be a pretty positive person. I like to put a positive spin on things, right? But Ash Wednesday is different because it gives us a day to be like, I am mortal and I mess up and I only have so many days here, and so I better work to get it right. I like a day like that. I don't want to spend every day like that, but I like a day to spend thinking about that. And I hope you do too. So if you are in the area, come and join us in person and get some ashes on your forehead. If you're worshiping at home, grab some dirt out of a house plant. It doesn't really matter, right? You could use oil if you want, whatever you got around, to just make that sign of the cross on your forehead and be reminded, oh yeah, I'm mortal. My days are finite. I am not God, and I am not in charge of this life. And so I have to refocus and realign with Jesus so that I can live my life the way he wants me to. So I hope you'll join us in person or online this evening as we celebrate Ash Wednesday, as we think about what that means for us as we enter into the season of Lent. So join us also this weekend as we kick off our new sermon series, Caved In, where we're going to be talking about how we can find light when life gets dark. So we're going to look at different caves and characters in the Bible that found themselves in caves and how God meets them there. It's going to be a fun series, an introspective series, a time for us to draw closer to God. So we'll see you all soon. Have a great rest of your week and hope to see you this evening. Take care.